What about my feelings? I have feelings.
We hit a nerve.
Because
What's up, co-workers? Welcome back to another episode of the We Outside Afterwork podcast. I am Dana.
we gotta let the bombs drop for you. You feel me? We gotta let it finish. 'Cause that's Dana. You feel me? One more time for her.
The We Outside Afterwork podcast.
Yes, sir. And I'm Aaron. How y'all doing? Co-host?
Yes, I'm so happy we got a theme song. Shout out to our producer Marvin, the king of podcasts. Yes.
Yeah, definitely a shout out to him, and shout out to Dana, because next show, you know, depending on what we gonna do another vote on Instagram. And
About what?
I don't know, but one of us got to rap. So who do y'all think would give a better rap?
I think I would, honestly.
All right, if that's what y'all think, we gonna put it in. We gonna put it on Instagram. Y'all gonna vote on that. We're gonna get some engagement, some interaction.
I used to rap when I was in high school.
What was your rap name?
I didn't have a rap name, but I had a song.
What
was called Swagalicious.
Give me some.
BARS.
No, it was embarrassing. It was me, my best friend, and one of our friends at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we had like a beat, and we just created a song together.
Okay. Well, I had a rap name too.
You had a rip. I didn't have a rap name.
Yeah, my rap name was 40 Keys. Because I'm black as the 40 keys on the piano, so I figured that was going to be my rap name.
That's clever, though.
I know. You know, that's what I do.
What they don't tell you is that the first snowman was black.
It's hell. But, you know, when it's just Dana and myself, we like to definitely make sure that we're checking in on each other.
Yes.
Because, you know, part of our friendship is support, is focus, is paying attention to one another. So, Dana, I just want to know, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. So my week has been pretty good. So first thing I want to say is I made a new friend on Sunday. Shout out to Amanda, because I think she watches the podcast now. So yeah, what's up, girl? And the way we became friends, it was so crazy because there was this event that I went to on Sunday. Yeah. Mind you, I thought I was off work on Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Mm-hmm. And I found out at like 9 p.m. that night that I worked the next day.
Well, at least you made it.
Yeah, but like I spent the most of the day like at brunch, and we was just getting drinks. So I was like, oh, I don't work tomorrow. And then I found out I had work the next day. Anyway, so I went to this, it was just this event or whatever, something that I was interested in. And my whole intention with going was just to show face and just like be that first event that I'm gonna continue to go to the other events. And it was like an instant connection. So me and her, we got to talking. We had a bunch of stuff in common. And she went to Kane too. Everybody went to fucking Kane in Jersey. So crazy. But she
#1 school, #1 podcast. You know, a lot of things.
Yeah. What's their motto?
I don't know their motto.
Higher education.
No, I don't know their motto.
Anyway, yeah.
I know their model was me, because, you know, I was a representative for Kane University. So
yeah, we know. You say that all the time. But yeah, she graduated in 2020, so we got to talking about our experiences. So after the event, mind you, it's probably like 30 degrees outside. Mm-hmm. So we're standing outside just chopping it up for like 40 minutes. And then we transitioned to her car. Like now we're talking about like personal things and like relationship stuff. And I don't normally feel that comfortable confiding in people. Mm-hmm. So the fact that like it was just so easy talking to her, like I was intrigued. I was like, oh, okay, like this is possibly like a blooming friendship. Mm-hmm. So I had to also go food shopping after this event. So that was like the reason why I kind of wanted to just go like be in and out and not really stay too long. So me and her, we're talking for like an hour, just outside. And then we eventually just go to brunch and continue talking until like 6 o'clock at night. And then...
Did she go food shopping with you?
No.
Okay.
So,
did you go food shopping?
I went food shopping. I went to Trader Joe's right after. Mm-hmm. And I was going to wait till the next day because I didn't know that I worked the next day. But I'm glad I went after brunch or late dinner, early dinner, whatever you want to call it, because I ended up working the next day. So...
Well, that's dope. Shout out to Amanda.
Shout out to Amanda.
And then what's crazy is making friends at our big age, right?
It's not easy.
It's not easy. And for somebody like me, I've always struggled making guy friends anyway, because most of my guy friends come from my cousin or my brother. I'm pretty much friends with their friends. Like,
Okay.
very rarely do I make my own guy friends. Like, my best friend Reggie and sports people, those are usually my friends because we have commonality.
Yeah, like the athletic piece is
But
how y'all became
making
friends.
a random ass friend out in the street, like,
Listen, with me, like, I do not make friends easily, especially when it comes to women. I'm not, and I told her this. Like, I'm not saying I don't have women friends, but the ones that I do consider a friend, I've known them for like 5+ years. And everyone knows, like, building, like, female friendships is always kind of tricky because you never know their intention. And it's like they want to act funny in certain times. So you got to be careful. So the fact that this one just flowed so easily, so quickly, I'm getting, like, good vibes from her where, like, her intentions are genuine. So I'm excited to see, like, how this goes.
well, I'm
So,
excited too. That's dope for you.
yeah, she might come on a podcast because
Yeah.
she got a lot to offer.
Well, listen, you know, I'm always down to meet a new friend. So
We know.
not like that. But for me to check in, I don't know. I had a conversation with my manager recently, and I've just been getting triggered by a lot of random things, like
From your manager?
just in general. But she's one of the, like, causes. Like, she'll come in and just have this negative, sour ass attitude about the smallest little things, and that shit just pisses
That
me
definitely
off.
kills, like, the vibe
Yeah,
of
and I'm a
place.
big vibe person. So
Same.
like, if I'm running 100 miles per hour and I'm doing good, I'm doing fine, everybody gonna feel it.
Right.
But then the moment she just opens her mouth, I just like, yo, please shut the fuck up forever. Like, that's how I be feeling.
You told her that?
So I tried to be cordial. So we had a conversation, and she was like, you know, is everything okay? I was like, no, everything isn't okay. But instead of me putting the blame on you, I'm gonna hold myself accountable for my own feelings and emotions. Because I'm not an emotional guy. Like, I'm not that crying is an issue or anything like that. I don't do it.
Who's crying at work, though?
People, first off, every fucking conversation I have with somebody is tears. Like, I'm just holding you accountable for doing your job, and you want to cry.
Because you call them out?
Yeah,
They start
like people
crying?
just cry all
Is
the time.
it white women?
Typically.
Okay.
Yeah,
because
typically.
that's like their go-to thing, to make you feel bad for saying something to them.
Oh, that shit don't shit
Yeah.
don't work for me. Them tears don't mean nothing.
Yeah,
I mean,
them
I have
crocodile
kids.
tears?
I have kids. You see, my daughter cries all the time. You think I'm paying them tears
Yeah, you
anymore?
got a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
2-year-old?
And then 5 minutes later, you put Gracie's Corner on or something. She's not crying no more. Like, I know how this works. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna fool me, especially at your big
Have
age.
you ever said that? Like, why are you crying? This is not...
No, I hand him a
hurt your
tissue and then I
feelings.
ask him because it shows that I don't give a fuck.
Oh.
Like, you know,
But
I
you're
don't-
nice about it.
Yeah, I'm very polite, but I don't want you to be fucking getting my seat wet with them fucking bullshit ass tears. Like, get it
Okay.
together.
But back to your manager, like, what exactly does she do?
You ever had that change of regime, right? When you had somebody cool that's helping you develop, that's getting you to the space that you want to be, and then they swap that out, and now you got somebody new. She just like her entire
I know
aura
what
is
that
just
is.
negative.
Yeah, but I've never experienced it.
So, and the crazy part is I trained with her, and I got nothing from the training experience from it. So it was just like, I don't want to spend every day with this woman. But at the end of the day, to make it to where I need to go in life, she's going to be somebody that's going to have to assist me in hurdling that opportunity. So I can't ignore it. I'm just going to have to bear with it.
Right.
So.
And speaking of people that you work with and train with that are higher ups, like, I want to get into our first topic, which are gatekeepers and gatekeeping and what that means. So if you guys don't know, but if you guys don't know, gatekeeping in the corporate setting is basically having someone stop you from either getting a promotion or getting a job based off them discriminating against you. Like, either it's your age, your color, your race, or whatever, and they kind of determine, like, your future within the company, or if there is a future at all with the company. So I just want to get into, like, how do you handle that? And, like, what if you were the gatekeeper? Have you ever been a gatekeeper in that situation?
I don't think I've been in a position to be a gatekeeper with the management experience that I've had. It's always been some other level. And I've always been the open door. So I've always been the person, like, you come to me, whatever you need, I want to get you to the next level. Because honestly, your success is my success. So I don't want to see anybody that works under me not be able to get that opportunity.
Right.
Like, we'll figure it out. We'll tie up the loose ends, dot your I's, and cross your T's. I've been in a situation where there were gatekeepers. When I worked at
How
Target.
did you handle that?
I ask a lot of questions. What do I need to do to get there? What is outstanding to you? What is exceeding expectations to you? What are these things, and is it realistic for me? Because what you're telling me, you might not be telling Susie. You might not be telling Linda. But what you're telling me is what I need to do. And I'll never forget.
And you know us, we got to work 10 times harder.
Absolutely. So I'll never forget, I talked to, it's called an HRBP, a Human Resources Business Partner at Target. And I wanted to progress to the next level. So I said, what do I have to do? I'm already training new assistants when they come in. I'm training store managers when they come in. I'm leading the entire district for service and engagement. What is it that I have to do to take it to the next level? Y'all clearly trust me with all of these functions. How come I'm not even getting considered interviews, whatever? She's like, well, you just got to be the best at everything. She said, if you're the best at everything, we can't question you.
I hate managers like that. Like, from my experiences, my managers, especially from my last job, like my last job was a huge company, like it was healthcare IT. They were based in California, but they had like different contracts with hospitals and clinics all over the country. So they always had like openings in higher up positions. So, you know, like you was just saying, like your manager is usually that person that's supposed to like put you on track and let you know like what are the things that you need to improve on or do to get to the next level. So my last job, they had a program like that, but my manager was just so not helpful and not really available to want to see like us, her employees, succeed, that was a detriment. And I also felt like that was just like a ceiling kind of job where it's like, well, if the manager's not really vouching for any of us and the manager is like the key piece needed to get to these higher roles, then like what the fuck. So that was also a reason why I left that last job.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's very important for people in those positions when, like, if I ever meet with my district manager or a regional manager, I'm always bigging somebody up because you never know what that mention can do to somebody.
I'm like that too.
Right? I'll never forget when I was at Target, we had this vice president dude. He was from like Austria or some shit like that. He kind of fucked up the entire business, but that's beside the point. I don't work for them. I don't give a fuck. He came.
They don't watch this.
Even if they did, I don't give a fuck. He came into the store, and it was my front end manager that was up there. And I'm like, look how awesome she is. She's amazing. Da, 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 da.
Were you the manager?
I was the manager. I managed the entire service and engagement department.
Okay.
So now I'm doing like a fundraiser for them, and I'm like, all right, you coming with me? Like, I already bigged you up. Now I'm gonna pay for your time. And you're gonna come over here, and we're gonna do this fundraising event with all these higher ups because you want to get promoted.
Yeah, and you want to be seen too.
Yeah.
So the fact that she was with you, that just shows that, like, you know, you had some type of confidence in her ability to help out that day. Yeah,
and when dealing with gatekeepers, you have to be seen. I'm not quiet when I'm in front of higher ups. I want you to know my name. I want you to know who I am. Even if you don't want to hire me, you're going to fucking know me. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be somebody that you can just walk in this building and you're not going to recognize. Like, my old manager, she used to come in and she wouldn't say nothing to me. I'm like, excuse me, hello?
Like, good morning, bitch.
Yeah, she's like, oh, you do such a good job that I don't feel the need to say something to you. Fuck that. I want to advance in this company. I want more. I want you to challenge me.
You
Send me stress
acknowledged.
assignments. So, like, that's what you got to do with them gatekeepers. You can't play with them.
I think for
don't play with them.
my current job is like that, where I think I said 2 episodes ago how they want me to be in a leadership role. They are trying to basically groom me to be in a leadership position, which now I am accepting. But I think because I've never been in a situation like this before.
Hold on. You can't just eat that in.
What?
You accepting a new role?
Not right now. Like, it's not there, but it's coming.
Oh, all right. Just making sure you try to slip that in.
Nah, not yet. But, like, even today, I had a meeting with my manager, my manager's manager, which ran later than anticipated. I left work at, like, 5:30 when I was supposed to leave at 5 o'clock. By the way, I'm one of those people where, like, I leave on the dot. Like, I'm not waiting for, like, no extra 5 minutes over unless... And now, even though I'm salary, we now get overtime. So I added that shit to my overtime. Anyway, the meeting was basically to say that I am going to be not manager, but the contact person for this new process we got at work. So it's just like another thing under my belt to show that like I'm doing like leadership things and organizing and stuff like that, which is cool.
The bag better, or they doing it as some kind of like
it's a special project. You know how those go.
Yeah, they try to trick you with that sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm getting a feeling and a vibe that like it's pushing me to the next level because there's a lot of like managerial changes going on at my job right now. But to go back to the gatekeeping thing, I have never experienced a person who was stopping me from getting a new job or working at a position. But I feel like if you are that person, I always want to ask them directly, like, well, why do you feel like you can pick and choose like who should be the one that is, I don't want to say eligible, but the person that like is suited for this position? Like, is it only based off skill set? Like, is it the characteristics of the person as well? Like, what exactly are you looking for? So that's the thing.
I think it's a matter of people swearing they know better.
I think it's discrimination, to be honest.
I wouldn't say that because it could be black gatekeepers, gay gatekeepers, women gatekeepers.
Yeah, I'm not saying like specifically like there's a white gatekeeper. I'm saying that like if it is like a black or minority gatekeeper, you're discriminating because either you think they're not working as hard as you because of the age, because she's a woman or like a male or anything along those lines. So it's like, you know, I don't think that should be a reason why you are in the way for people to
That's
advance.
why I like measurable shit, right? Like if I'm good at this, can you tangibly explain to me why I wouldn't make it to the next level if I've made all my sales?
Usually
if
they don't.
Made all this, if I made all that, like I don't know what an IT metric is. Can you give me like an IT metric, like something they would measure you on?
They would measure, well, for my role, they would see like what projects I was the lead on, and then like how many cases I've closed. It's a lot of like customer support stuff, so shit like that.
So if you had 30 closed cases, multiple projects that you worked on, 100% satisfaction through support, what the fuck is the drawback? Like, that's what I need to know.
That's been the conversation for like the past year at my job. Like, I've literally been jumping through hoops because it's like, well, do this, do that. Like, it'll make you look better so that when that position does come. And there was a point where, I'm not gonna lie, I was over it, and I'm just like, what the fuck is the point? Because there's always something else added to my plate. But now, like, I'm starting to see the stuff firsthand of like what's opening up. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
And that story reminds me of the Monique situation, right? Where she was working on the movie Precious, and then she got Oscar nominated. So this is a big story of black gatekeepers in Hollywood, right? With Tyler Perry, Oprah, Lee Daniels, etc. Their premise was you need to do the standard Hollywood shit. Because this is...
Wait, what was the reason that she got blacklisted? I forgot.
Because she didn't want to do the promotion for the movie.
For Precious.
Like at all the like award shows and the galas and the film festivals and stuff like that.
But why not?
Because she wanted to spend time with her family.
Oh.
So
I thought she just didn't want to do it because it was like such a very traumatic movie.
No. She just had a baby not too long ago. She just got married. She wanted to spend time with her family. She fulfilled her financial obligations for the company. Anything that she was technically scheduled to do from a financial perspective, she did. Those things were not. But because Hollywood tells you, you got an award show coming up, we're not going to pay you to do this, but we'll fly you out. We'll get you dressed. We'll make you look pretty. But I need you to do this and represent the movie. She didn't want to do that, not because she didn't want to. She just wanted to spend time with her family. But because of that, in the Hollywood elite, this ain't what you do. You don't violate Hollywood standards and practices.
She was blacklisted for how long? Like
a minute.
10 years?
I'm always supportive of Monique. We gotta get you on the show.
Yeah, you said you don't like Oprah because
I don't fuck
Oprah's
with Oprah.
Against Monique.
Nah, Oprah did the bullshit. She did the bullshit. She had her family, she got sexually harassed, and you got her family talking about her story. Like, that's some weird shit. I don't know. It is. But I know we were talking about you potentially getting promoted.
I'm just putting that out in the universe. Because, we talked about manifesting and being beyond the bullshit. Like,
so how we gonna manifest negotiating this new salary too? Because it don't come free. So it don't come cheap.
Negotiating has always been a strong point for me. Now, I've mentioned before that I have always doubled my salary since I started working in corporate America after I graduated college. So the way I do it, just to drop a little gem, is you definitely have to make sure you are explaining your skill set to the T and even over explaining. When you do that, like obviously the resume, you can not finesse the resume, but like word the resume to where it makes you seem like you're the shit and like you are the expert at whatever industry or job that you do. But then it's also how you speak. Like, how do you articulate all of this stuff that's written down in a way that is not believable, but makes them want to choose you? So when it comes to negotiating the salary and the offer, a lot of people, when they get that offer for their first like big job or a six-figure corporate company, they just take it. And you can counter offer. So you can say that I want $15,000 more than whatever they're offering you. Because one of the things you should always do when you are getting a job offer is look up the salary on Indeed or ZipRecruiter or Glassdoor for that specific position. And it'll usually, nowadays, all job listings have the salary range. So if they don't, you can just Google it. And a lot of people try to downplay their salary or skill set because they think like, oh no, the company's not going to give me this or whatever. But they're not expecting you to counter offer. But if you do, there's always wiggle room. Like if you ask for the max, they might even give you more, depending on like what's on Glassdoor or ZipRecruiter or whatever. And then also it's like you can negotiate days off as well and PTO. So that's one of the things that I always make sure that I do when I'm negotiating offers.
And you also want to double check if they have like sign-in bonuses, if they have travel incentives. Like it's a lot of hidden things in these companies where you can really be taken care of.
It's available, but a lot of people just don't take advantage of that because they're just happy they got the offer. It's like, oh my God, like I'm just going to take it. Like, no, like be like, oh, I want to counter offer this. And that's not saying that you're not getting the job. Because once a company gives you that offer, they want you. Like you went through the interview process and there's no like second guessing. If anything, they'll just say no. And if they say no, then, you know, you still got the job.
And unless it's a catastrophic difference in how much you're asking versus how much they're willing to pay you, they will operate within those ranges, right? So you might be looking at, I want to make $60,000. The company might be like, all right,
$60,000 per year?
$60,000 per year.
Is that straight out of college?
I don't know. I'm just throwing a random number out there. You might want to make $60,000, and they might say, all right, we'll give you $45,000. So you, first and foremost, you stand on that. Stand on your 60. You got to be willing to say no. Because what they'll do is they'll give you final offers.
So you have to walk away.
Walk away with reason, right? You don't want to walk away to the point where they're like, all right, this person don't want to work with us, fuck it. Because you don't want to necessarily lose out on a job when you're not necessarily negotiating correctly. Because if you ain't never made $45,000, you don't need to turn that down.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I was saying. Like people, they're just so excited that they got the offer that they don't realize you can counter offer. If you have a corporate job where you're getting an offer, there's always room for negotiation.
And I know it's even easier when you already have a job. Because when I transitioned from my job to the current one I have, I already knew I was sitting on a nice salary. So I just went on Glassdoor, looked at their range, and I said, I want the max that I seen on it. Just like Dana said. And they came back and they said, we'll add to that. Yeah. So don't be afraid.
Right. The first job I ever did it for was it my last job? Yeah, it was when I started my last job. I got an offer. So there was a point in time where I was a desktop engineer for like 5 months. Do you know what that is?
Nope.
Shit's terrible. So you're basically the IT person that's going to different sites, setting up new computers and like, imagine me like in a parking lot with like a with a dolly.
I thought you was making like, desktops.
No, that's something else. But like with monitors and shit, like trying to wheel the shit through the parking lot upstairs to the office. Listen, I took a picture because one of our sites, they had a mirror in the elevator. So I took a picture of myself in the mirror with like this big, I think it was like 2 monitors on a dolly. And I just looked very sad to make it like in layman's terms. But anyway, yeah, so the first time that I have negotiated a salary, it was right after that job where the new, are we talking numbers, like specific numbers?
You don't have to talk specific numbers.
Yeah, I don't talk specific numbers. But either way, it was 2 times the salary that I was making. And at the time, my ex, like, he was the one that put me on, like, negotiating and, like, counter offers and stuff like that because, like, he was a little older than me. So he's been in, like, those spaces more. So he was like, yeah, ask for this. And, like, if they really want you, then they'll give it to you. So the HR person calls me and says that we emailed you the offer and, you know, we want you for the position. So then I'm like, okay, well, I want to counter offer this. She literally called me 10 minutes later after my counter offer saying that the hiring manager said, okay, it's approved. And it was that simple.
It ain't always going to be that simple, so I don't want y'all to get crazy, right?
But it can be. You just don't
simple.
know until you actually ask.
Have you ever had somebody tell you no?
No.
So in the event that they do tell you no, like I was telling you earlier, you have to know how to work your way down. But I'm big on your negotiables, right?
But know your worth too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you have to have a level that you will not let these people go under. And you got to stick to that because they can sense. It's like buying a car. Like if you know I'm not spending more than $20,000 on this car, you need to make that abundantly clear that you will walk out of this door and you won't leave with a car if they try to give you over $20,000.
Because they will take advantage.
So y'all gotta be you gotta be
y'all
careful.
Gotta be smarter.
I don't want you not to get a job because you're fighting for pennies. But at the same time, you gotta stick to your worth, like Dana said.
And just one last thing I want to add to what you just said. You don't want to not get the job. I also think it's important to have options when you are looking for a job. So, like, go on multiple interviews for different companies. Don't just put all your eggs in one basket. Like, it's cool if you get that job, but you still want to have, like, just plan A's, not A's, but plan B's and C's just in case plan A don't work. So just always keep your options open when it comes to looking for a job. So we are going to transition to our next topic. Aaron, if you want to talk about it.
Next topic. We're going to talk about making some money.
That's not what you got on here.
That's what we're going to talk about, making some money. We're going to talk about how Iggy Azalea is out here getting that bag.
How much did it say she made on OnlyFans?
$307,000 in 24 hours.
Wait, how much?
$307,000 in 24 hours. And then that's not even compared to Blueface.
Do you know what she posts on OnlyFans?
They said she only be posting bra pictures.
What does that mean? Like
just pictures in her bra. Yeah. You say you don't see no nothing. Sorry, I'll be rated PG-13. You don't see no nothing.
Yes. Save the rated R for the Patreon. We gonna get to that.
But even Blueface, like, is no sex being posted.
Yeah, he said he makes. I think he put a screenshot of his OnlyFans.
$700,000 something.
A year salary.
Listen, I don't know about you, but I'm contemplating.
What, making an OnlyFans?
Why not?
What would you post on there?
Post my feet. People like feet.
Not men feet.
Wow, foot fetishes come in all shapes.
I've never seen a man's foot fetish page. I've only seen women.
All right, well, maybe a hand, hand models. But seriously.
Everywhere I go, people ask me, like, well, they say I have nice fingers and nails and I should be like a hand model.
So, test it out.
On OnlyFans?
Why not? What's the worst that can happen?
On OnlyFans. Who would pay to see my hands?
Clearly, people will pay. Listen. All right, I'm on Twitter a lot. And one thing that you can find a lot on Twitter is the filth. So you'll see different promo pages and different things of this nature.
I just went on Twitter yesterday.
It's disgusting, right?
After not being on it since Elon Musk became the owner. When I tell you, I was on there for probably scrolling for like a minute and it was just porn. And I was like, But you know what they have now that I like is, I don't know if they've always had this, but it's just like things like suggested for you tweets. They have a lot of that.
I'm not a fan.
I like that now. Okay.
I follow people for a reason because I want to see the people I follow. I don't want to see people I don't follow. And that's where you see a lot of these fucking promo pages.
Yeah.
So the way that I try to operate my Twitter is I wanted my Twitter to translate into my Instagram poetry page, right? So I'm following any and everybody, whatever the case may be.
That's related to poetry?
No, in general, women, right? Because that's my target audience. I didn't realize that I stumbled upon, like, it was this thing that it like mass follows people, but it was like all these promo pages for like OnlyFans and stuff. So now I just got porn everywhere.
You can't unfollow it?
I mean, I can, but it's a lot of work. So I just deal with it. But I don't mind it.
Okay, so you would legit make an OnlyFans page?
I don't know.
Because I feel like, okay, now I understand Iggy Azalea and Blueface. If he did want to post provocative stuff on his OnlyFans, I'm sure he would make a lot of money, like more money than he's already making. I always felt with OnlyFans is like, if you're not a celebrity, because I think Tyga has an OnlyFans as well, and he posts, from what I've heard, like I don't subscribe to any OnlyFans, but I heard that he posts like wild ass parties that he be throwing and like just a lot of crazy things.
Yeah, because it wasn't built for sex.
Yeah, but my thing is like these are celebrities. You want to kind of get like a inkling of their personal lives, so you're gonna pay for these subscriptions for OnlyFans. Now, a regular smegular person who is not known for nothing, and you make an OnlyFans and you're now selling nude pictures of yourself, you really think people are gonna buy this? Because why?
Because people buy nude pictures.
You could get that. You just say you could get it on Twitter for free.
Listen, a lot of logic-based men agree with you, right? But for whatever reason, it's a lot of women out here making bank off of.
You could see naked women on Instagram for free. That's why I don't understand why you would just pay for a subscription for OnlyFans.
I think it's the involuntarily celibate dudes, the incels out here. They do enjoy to put their money where their mouth is. Like, and it's not just I'm paying for naked pictures or feet or access to the celebrities to see their everyday life. I believe you have like inboxes where you can talk to them and stuff like that.
You can DM them and stuff?
If I'm not mistaken. I think it might be like money that you pay and they can respond to you or something like that.
If Chris Brown got OnlyFans, I'm going to pay for it.
We going to look that up. Marvin, I don't know if you can look that up. See if Chris Brown got it. I'll pay her
Marvin
1 month.
ain't even in the room.
I'll pay your 1 month subscription.
Okay.
I got you, all right? If you got one.
Oh, you going to pay?
I'll pay for 1 month for Chris Brown just for you.
Really? All right, I'm going to look after we record.
Yeah, they ain't got no goddamn OnlyFans. But that's the thing. Like, it's people that are really out here. And I don't even think it's a desperation thing. I just think
they're trying to make money. Like, okay, that goes back to, I think we had this conversation with Jasmine, Dr. Jazz. Shout out to Dr. Jazz. Where you can make money online, passive income, right? But being a content creator, you obviously got to put out content. And OnlyFans is content creator as well. But there's just different ways you can do it. So I'm not mad at OnlyFans people who are half naked and putting their body out there and like having people pay for those subscriptions. I just know I'm not doing that.
Why not?
Aside
from I don't want to degrade myself and disregard my body.
That's key. That's number one. Like, to me, my body is like my
temple.
Not my temple. But it is. But no, like, I'm so sacred with my body where, like, not everyone gets to see all of this and what I be working for in the gym, okay? So, like, I'm not just putting it out there for everybody and their mama to see. Like, I have some integrity. I have a lot of integrity.
All right, so what about girls who do, like, swimsuit modeling or even, like, new photo shoots for companies and modeling?
If that works for them, and that's the thing, it depends on the person. If that's what you want to do to make your money, cool. I just know for me, like, I'm more intellectual, and I know that I can tap into, like, different ideas that I have that's not selling my body to make money.
I mean, $300,000 a day.
It's a lot of money.
Swimsuit pictures. I don't think that you go to.
If it's swimsuit picture, that's not a problem.
So you would do that.
I'm not opposed to it.
That's what I think a lot of people are dealing with, right?
I don't think so.
I'm not
think
opposed to
they're,
putting my feet
ass
on the internet.
Naked on OnlyFans.
Everybody's not. A lot of them are. I ain't gonna say they're not.
You need to show me then.
I don't have anybody's OnlyFans to prove this, but especially with the celebrities got a different vantage point because people want to have access to their lives.
They have that fan base.
But it's a lot of like these TikTok girls and these Instagram girls that got a lot of followers that you don't see nothing more than a bathing suit, a bikini, some ass.
I gotta actually see their OnlyFans to believe that, because I feel like they be showing nipples and ass like with nothing on because they're gonna get extra money if they post that.
Yeah, it's a good little hustle. You know,
I'm sure it is.
The oldest business in the world was always prostitution, so it's always gonna be a way for it's always gonna be a way for women to make money if they really, really need it. $40 go a long way, y'all.
$40? Is that how much the subscription is?
Nah.
Anyway, another thing that I want to get into is, well, you have your topic, I have mine. I want to talk about mine, then we'll go into yours.
Gotcha.
So mine is people, specifically men, not knowing how to converse. Jesus Christ. So I wanted to bring this up because it's been irking me for a couple months now. So the last time I mentioned my dating life, I said I was talking to somebody and things were going well. Well, that's a dub. Okay. Like completely single at this point. Not talking to nobody, no type of prospects. Like
the roster has been
no roster at all. So the reason being is because of the conversation. Now, I said that I am very much of a person who likes to talk and like get to know you deeper than just like how you look. Now, one of the things, I feel like I say that all the time, one of the things. So one thing that I realized, the reason why I lose interest in men who are fine, like, you know, they go to the gym, they work out, like they got a nice smile. Yeah. But it's the conversation that kills me. Especially when you say like, oh, my day is going well, I'm doing this, that, and a third, and I have to keep asking you about your day, and it's not reciprocated. Like, you don't say, like, oh, how's your day going? Did you eat? Because I feel like that's a little too, like, you know, like you really
generic.
Well, it's also like you really, really care for me. And you don't get that initially when you're talking to somebody. But there's just no type of interest in my life. And that's the reason why, like, my dating has been trash. Because I just stopped texting back. So
I can not be a fan of yours right now because I'm probably going to say something you won't like. Wow. Don't you think the conversation is not one-sided?
That's what I mean. Like, that's my point.
But I think at the same time, if you are getting the same dryness from everybody through the same...
But I'm not getting dryness. So
Okay. Just making sure, because that's...
All right, let me clarify that. It's not dryness. Like, they're going into detail of, like, what they have going on.
But they're just
and,
not
like,
bringing it back to you.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm holding the conversation where like I'm trying to get to know you and like your passions and your family and this, that, and the third, but there's no type of like inkling about asking me anything. So I just stopped responding because like I'm not gonna keep trying to, you know, get to know you if it's not reciprocated.
I think a lot of people struggle with that. Like, not even just from a romantic perspective, just in general from a conversation perspective. Yeah. A lot of people just don't know how to have a conversation.
And they don't get it. Like, if I'm not responding, like, I don't know if you've done this, but you went back and, like, read text messages just to see where shit went left. Okay, maybe just women do that. But, yeah, that's one of the things me and my friends, we've talked about. Just, like, reading through text messages and, like, where things didn't make sense. And we'll ask each other, like, yo, am I bugging? Like, what do you think about this? So... yeah,
I think sometimes it just be, maybe it's too much for this person. Maybe it's not enough for that person. Maybe it's boring here. Maybe like, yo, she's doing too much. Like,
they can go on and on talking about themselves.
Yeah, because that's easy. Like, it's easy to talk about me.
It is.
But it's not that it's hard to talk about you, but it's kind of like most men don't really
all you got to add is, how about you? Or HBU.
Yeah, but that's also very limited. So what I've realized is especially with women, complaints come a dime a dozen. Like, the moment that I say what you're doing is why are you saying that? The moment I don't ask what you're doing is why you ain't
Well,
asking
that's
what I'm
very
doing.
generic, though.
The moment I say I'll pick you up at 9 o'clock, oh, you're doing too much. The moment I don't pick you up at 9 o'clock, it's like, why you can't plan stuff out? So
no, that's not me. Like, if you planned out a date and was like, get ready at this time and I'm gonna pick you up, I'm like, all right, bet. Like, what's the vibe?
I think it all depends on the vibe, right? Like, if you feeling somebody and that's what you want out of them, cool, every time, all day, every day. But if it's somebody you on the fence with, it's like, man, I don't even feel like getting out of bed for this person.
I'm talking about like the beginning stages.
I'm
though.
talking about it too.
Okay, where like we didn't even meet yet. Like it's just talking and texting. And I'm not a big texter. I hate fucking texting. Like I love voice notes and phone conversations.
That might also be a reason that these conversations might go
But we
left.
haven't even done any of that.
Okay.
Like it's just more so like, well, you know, like how, like what do you do during the day? Like what do you do as hobbies? Like those basic ass small talk questions, which I hate, but it's a part of dating. No? Okay. But I don't know. Like I'm at a loss where I'm just like, I don't even have the patience for this shit right now. Like
I think
it's so monotonous.
I think what you got to do is you got to break the monotony. I was literally going to say that. You got to change things up. Like, ask different questions. I don't care about your favorite color. I don't care about your hobbies. In all honesty, if me and you talk enough during the day, I'm going to get to know what your hobbies are.
Right.
Like, me and you've never said, hey, Aaron, what do you like? It's our experiences have dictated our friendship. That's how we get to a point where we can talk about any and everything. But because people are so interested in romance, they try to, you know, I don't want to say cheat the system a little bit and like jump the line, but it's like, I want to get to know you now. I want to know everything. And it's like,
I don't even want to get to know everything. I just want to see some type of interest in me.
yeah, I think put it out there in a different way.
Like say that.
Yeah.
Like you would have not asked anything about me and see what they say.
But do it in a silly way. Don't do it in like a...
And put a LOL at the end.
Yeah, because the moment that you get all serious and shit, it's like,
Now I always put
damn.
LOLs on the end. Even when I am serious, I'll put a LOL so it's not
Yeah,
as
it makes
intense.
things a little loose. It makes things feel like, all right, maybe I was being a little selfish. Let me pay attention. Let me ask her some questions about herself. But for somebody like me...
people don't notice?
No. Conversations, people are oblivious. Like, that's why people get ghosted, because it's like, why we were good. Like, what happened? Like, you didn't even say nothing. Next thing you know, you done disappeared.
Because I'm reading in between the lines, and I'm more so analyzing the conversation. And I think people, like, men are not like that. They're just...
Oh, no, I think men are like that. I think men do analyze it a little bit also. Maybe not text message by text message and bringing it back to the crew. But I do think we discuss it like, what do you think this meant? What do you think that is? Typically, it's when you're already in a relationship where we do stuff like that, where it's like, yo, what is she talking about type of shit. But, I mean...
Is it because you don't want your friends to know who you're talking to? Because you're in a talking stage?
Nah, niggas don't care. Yo, look at this.
Y'all be sending pictures.
Nah, I try not to.
But your friends do?
Sometimes. But typically speaking, if it's somebody that they really serious about, you're not about to see their flicks.
Because that's a girl. So they don't want to, show you her titties.
Unless it's multiple of them. Because, it is possible to be in love with multiple women at one time.
Is it though? Break that down.
Or men, I guess,
Well, I'm obviously from the men's side. But why do you think so?
Because I think love has been defined down a little bit. I think we look at love as a singular force that only I can give this to you and only you to be my ultimate. But there are so many different...
There's different versions of love. I can agree to that. But to be like in love, have you ever like been in love with someone where like you don't see anybody else? Because for me, like to be in love with...
Hold on, before you added an outlier to it.
What?
You said, have you ever been in love before? And then you paused and said, without seeing anyone else. That's not the same thing. That's a totally different, because I could have been in love before and still had interest elsewhere in others.
That is true.
It could be from an attraction perspective. It could be from a mental perspective, a hobby perspective. The things that I like in this person shouldn't be disregarded because I share something with someone else. And that's where I think the schism comes from a little bit.
I think there's different levels of love, because I have experienced this before where I loved two people at the same time, but it was just like different intensities of love. Like one person, I love their personality. I loved hanging out with them. But on the romantic side, I didn't really like that too much. And then with the other person, I did love their personality as well, but it was more so like an intimacy thing that I loved too. So like it was love at the same time, but it was just like different perspectives.
And do you think it was more difficult because you couldn't articulate that to the parties involved?
I don't think I wanted to.
Why not?
But also, I don't think I would have anyway, which I didn't. Because how would you feel if someone that you like truly cared about and this was like your person told you that?
Well, see, I don't believe in my person.
People.
I don't believe in that. But I would accept it because that's the reality of that person's feelings.
Would you still want to be with them? Or if they came up to you and was like, hey, I want both of you as my boyfriend. Would you be okay with that?
I would be okay with it because I've paid attention enough to recognize that what I mean to somebody could be different on a different level, like you said, like different levels of love and whatnot. So if she decides that, hey, you fulfill this role for me that I love and adore about you so much, and he does this and he does that, or
you would
she
be
does that,
open to being a second boyfriend?
I don't have a problem with it.
Wow.
But
I don't think I've ever had that conversation.
I also think a lot of men, especially men, have egos to the point where
All men have
it's like,
egos.
nah, that's my pussy. Like, my pussy ain't getting shared. Like, but that's the thing. How are we looking at it? Because her being in love with another individual doesn't necessarily indicate that she's fucking them.
There's a show on TLC. I don't know the name of it, but I saw a commercial where it's polygamy, but it's the woman that has two husbands or two boyfriends. And I want to watch it because it's just a different scenario, because usually it's shown from the guy's perspective where he has multiple wives. So just to see like two men who know about each other and know that their woman is sleeping with somebody else and like, you know.
I think it's a lot of hypocrisy, especially surrounding men with like a side woman, right? Knowing she got a husband. They don't have a problem having sex with that woman knowing she got a husband.
If it's like in private, like
regardless.
I think most men, they don't usually publicly like show people that they are a second boyfriend and they know that she either has a husband or a second
because it's
boyfriend.
an ego thing, right? Because if I'm fucking somebody's wife, it's like, yeah, I'm fucking his wife. If I'm sharing somebody's wife, that's a different conversation. Like, it's the same shit. And vice versa. Like, this is why a lot of women, and this is where I learned to respect it, a lot of women recognize we're sharing these men anyway, whether we like it or not. So if I'm cheating or he's cheating on,
whether he tells you or not,
if he's cheating on his wife with me, unfortunately to the woman, it has nothing to do with me as the woman that he's cheating with, right? It has nothing to do with me. So I'm going to enjoy my time with him, whatever that time is. If I have to spend time with him on a weekend on some scissor shit, so be it.
I guess. I just know for me, when I'm ready to settle down, I'm not into polygamy. I don't want multiple women. Or someone who I used to date actually, like, not recently, but they hinted how they wanted multiple wives. And I guess they wanted me to be one of them. And I was like, they sent me a reel where this guy had, like, multiple wives and he was cool with it. Right. And he was like, how do you feel about that? And I was like, if that's what works for him. And then he was like, would you ever be a second wife or like have, like let your husband have multiple wives? And I was like, fuck no.
And I think the conversation is ruined when you ask somebody to be a second wife.
Like, I want to be a first wife.
I think a lot more people will accept being first than second.
No. I don't want to be multiple anything.
Listen,
I want to be the only.
At the end of the day, I don't want to sound so negative on love and relationships, but I would say majority of the men out here, at least I can't speak for the women, are probably out here just doing their own thing, one way or another.
But there's still a lot of faithful monogamous men out there who literally just want one wife. I haven't had those conversations with them, but they're out there. Like, everyone's not just wanting to have multiple people and multiple wives, because
no, they don't.
A lot of people too, they tend to just go through their whole phase and get that out their system, and then when they're older, let's say for men, for example, in like their 40s and 50s, then they're ready to settle down and get married, because it's like either they lost their stamina, like keeping up with multiple people is a lot of work, like it's different personalities, and you kind of just want to focus on one person. So it could just be because you don't want to deal with all of that, not necessarily because you just want a monogamous relationship.
I think they just don't want to die alone. No, honestly.
Who wants to die alone?
I'm just saying. I don't
Nobody.
think a lot of men would prefer to be in a monogamous relationship.
I feel like most men they're more emotional than women.
Which is possible. I'm not
But
going
they try to
say
hide
it
it.
is. I just know from my vantage point, at some point in time, no, I'm not going to have time to entertain a whole bunch of different individuals in life. But at the same time, my eyes don't close unless they close. Like, I'm still going to see what I see. I'm still going to want what I want. Am I going to act on it? That's a different story.
Wanting is just a human characteristic, right? But for me, it's more so like the self-discipline and you actually caring about the other person's feelings. Because I think if you truly, truly love and care for someone, and you know that stepping out without having any conversation with them will hurt their feelings, I think you will put their feelings first. Or
what about my goddamn feelings, huh? What about my feelings? I have feelings.
We hit a nerve.
Because you don't want me to do something, now I gotta cater to your feelings. What about mine?
Well, you could be single.
No, I don't have to be single.
Why not?
Because you love me, I love you. So if this is this a condition of my love?
Okay. So if the person you're with, right, like y'all are in a relationship together, and they say they are not okay with you stepping out in order to be with them,
then leave.
Exactly.
Bye.
I agree.
But
because you can't have that if two people don't agree to that. If it's just one-sided, then still it doesn't work because that's not equal.
At the end of the day, you do what you need to do. You do what you want to do. If love is what it is, you'll be all right. Love is not bound by sex.
Yeah.
And once we continue to realize that these people, especially because they're fucking anyway, like if you didn't know I was doing what I was doing, you're not gonna stop loving me. But now that you're aware of it,
I don't think because even with relationships that are super, super toxic, the love don't just disappear.
No, never does.
Yeah, it never does. But you know that for your mental health and your peace of mind, that being in this scenario is just not healthy for you overall as a person. Because I have, I wouldn't call them friends, but I know women who have confided in me because I'm such an empath and people be telling me all their problems. But I know women who they love men like down to their core and know that these men are not right for them. They know it. They tell me. And they will literally stop eating. They won't sleep. Like their business goes to shit because they had to let go of this man who wasn't treating them right, but they still have love for them at the end of the day. So I think you got to like really just be like, yo, do I really deserve this? Like, have some type of respect for yourself.
I'm going to slightly disagree, and we're going to end it on this note.
Who said we're going to end it?
Because we getting up to time, so we're going to end it on this note.
Who said?
You said something about loving him to the core. Mm-hmm. And, you know, why should you be with somebody that's going to treat you this way, right? At the end of the day, you love the way people treat you. That excess of the stuff that doesn't benefit you has nothing to do with the way he's still treating you. He's still treating you wonderfully to the point where
that's a different scenario. I'm saying if they treat you like shit.
But from what you said was you love him for how he treats you, and then he essentially steps out. Like he's still treating you right.
The women that I'm talking to specifically, I'm saying that their relationships are toxic.
Yes, because he cheats, not even
because he cheats, because he treats the woman like shit.
Give me an example of treating her like shit.
So, for example, you live with somebody and they say they're going to go half on bills. And then it's time to pay bills. And they're yelling and screaming. They're doing all this, that, and the third, not paying the bills because they just don't have it. And now you're the person left to pay all the bills and take care of the household. And because you love and care for this person so much, and they've done this consecutively for years, And because you just like have that deep love for them, it's like, oh, I'm gonna deal with it knowing that like he's a liar, he's full of shit, but you know, like I care about him, so I'm gonna pay the bills and still deal with this.
Okay, but I don't know if that's necessarily treating them like shit. I think that's
you're
being
a liar.
irresponsible financially, and I think that's where maybe she can tie in his finances with hers, see if it's different ways that they can.
It's got down to a point where they can't even have like a mature conversation.
Okay.
About like how to resolve that.
I think that's
to where
more,
she had to kick him out.
I think that's a little bit different than treating her like shit. I think that's just them two not really understanding how to cohabitate with one another.
Well, there's like some domestic violence in there as well, which I didn't mention.
Yeah, that's treating her like shit.
Yeah. So, but I don't want to put all their business out there. But like that's my point. Is like how long can you put up with something that you know is not right for you until you've had enough, regardless of how much you love this person. That was my point. I
personally, and we talked about this like episode 3. I don't think it's a limit. Love is going to be love regardless of how it is. So.
It's going to be love, but I feel like you got to like set some boundaries for yourself.
That sounds good on the external, but internally, love don't give a fuck. Love is dangerous.
Well,
man.
for someone who is very independent and don't put up with shit and is beyond the bullshit, she just knows her worth.
Absolutely.
And I think women out there, y'all gotta just do better with knowing your worth and respect for yourself.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there.
Okay. So,
I tried to on that note. Did you see it? It didn't work.
No, we're not done yet. So one thing we have on here is Black History Month. This is gonna go out in February, which is Black History Month. So shout out to us. Every day is Black History Day / month or whatever. So I see you added it to the list. Is there anything specific you want to mention?
Yeah, growing up in a melting pot community, I never really had to appreciate being black, right? It was just kind of like, oh, my skin is darker. Until I start seeing a lot more of the police brutality, the racial profiling, the negative stigmas attached to other black kids coming into the neighborhood, seeing the cops just continue to survey our neighborhoods, all because we were black. You know, I had to really learn what being black was. My grandfather put it in my head, like, you know, you don't operate like you was some kind of a slave to this society. I'm not trying to be funny, but he always said we came from kings. No bullshit.
We did in Africa.
But we gotta really stand on that. And I know this month is the shortest month of the year. It's often disregarded into just Martin Luther King Day, and then
which is in January.
Yeah,
not even.
That's
his birthday.
We essentially celebrate Martin Luther King throughout the month of February in every school system in America for 14 consecutive years, right? So a lot of that is just being beyond that, being more than just Martin Luther King. We want to be like the Haitian Revolution. We want to be more than what we were before we came to America.
We want to know our worth. And I do just want to mention something when you said police brutality. I was listening to this podcast earlier, the Don't Call Me White Girl show. Have you heard of that?
Nope.
Okay. So yeah, the host, her name is Damona. Anyway, she has this guy on there. I think it's her producer or whatever. I think his name is Dre. But he was talking about how recently he drove down to Florida with his older aunt and uncle, like his second aunt, uncle, whatever. Either way, they were old as fuck. And he mentioned how he got stopped in South Carolina, like going down there and coming up by a different cop.
Twice.
Yeah, twice by a different cop. So one of the stops, the cop literally said, can you get out the car and sit next to me because I want to talk to you? And his aunt and uncle in the car, they were scared for him. They're like, don't do it. Like, no, like it's unnecessary. But because he didn't want to cause a scene, he was just like, all right, fuck it. Like, I'm going to just go to the cop car. So the cop ended up just talking to him, basically saying how, like, I like to get people in the passenger side to get a feeling for them. Right. And yeah, right, bullshit. So one of the things that they were saying was, like, if he wasn't so, like, calm-mannered and, like, had control over himself, it could have went real left where, like, the cop could have potentially killed him because, he pulled him over and he didn't get out the car and come into the passenger seat of his cop car. So yeah, like, I think it's important to be aware that you are black and that, you know, we don't have the same privileges of other races, specifically white races, and you gotta like teach your kids about like, yo, this isn't just rainbows and ice cream out here. Like, you gotta know what the fuck is going on when it comes to the police brutality and just being black in America.
They just piss me off, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's crazy.
I don't even want to chime in because I get mad about shit like
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna talk more into it the next few episodes for Black History Month. But on that,
No, hold on, time out. We're not going to talk Black history and talk that negative shit.
No, we're not talking negative shit.
Because that shit pissed me off.
Yeah, no, we're going to uplift the community and talk about positive stuff, not slavery. By the way, did you see Emancipation with Will
Emancipation
Smith?
means free. I don't want to watch nothing.
Yes, Will Smith's new movie on Apple TV.
And I don't call them slaves. I call them stolen indigenous Africans.
Yeah, well, that was like a new slave movie, which people were saying was so great. But I'm like, I'm not fucking watching. I'm sick of slave. Like, I literally don't like watching slave movies. It's 2023. Like, I don't want to keep getting reminded about that.
Facts.
Yeah. So, okay, guys, on that note, any last words?
Patreon. We got to make sure that y'all...
We finally
dollars.
recorded the Patreon episode. Yes. And it will be posted in the description of this episode. It's a crazy 30-minute audio about Aaron's bet that he lost. And he tells a story about how he lost his virginity. I actually ended up telling a story too of mine. But yeah, if you guys want to check it out, the link will be in the description.
And all best friends involved, please, I apologize.
Yeah, so every week we're gonna record 30 minutes for the Patreon, and I have it set at $15 a month. Is that too much?
Is it too much for y'all? Y'all think that's too much? I think y'all could give us some more.
Yeah, that's cheap. Do it. Yeah. Okay.
But for those of y'all who do want to involve yourselves in the conversation and come on to the show and just chime in any way that y'all can, we would appreciate a lot more activity in our Gmail, WOAWpod@gmail.com. Make sure y'all hit us up because we love to hear from our coworkers.
Yes, and we got a couple guests coming on next month or this month, February, that I'm excited for. They're going to be pulling up and joining the conversation. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe so you can see who we're talking about. And
we outside.
Yeah, we outside, we out.
And we out.